around St. Augustine's Academy like a thick cloak, shrouding the sprawling campus in an eerie silence. As the guardian of the gate, I sat perched in my chair, the only sentinel in the darkness, my eyes scanning the empty streets beyond the towering iron gates. Little did I know, that night would unravel a sinister secret lurking within the walls of this Catholic school. The air was heavy with the scent of autumn leaves and damp earth, the cool breeze sending a shiver down my spine as I settled into my post. It was a routine night, or so I thought, until the unsettling events began to unfold. I squinted into the darkness, straining to make out any signs of movement. And then, emerging from the shadows, I saw them. 12 figures, their ghostly forms drifting towards the gates of the academy. My heart quickened with a mix of fear and curiosity as I watched them draw closer. At first, I thought they were priests returning from a late-night vigil, their robes billowing in the breeze. But as they approached, a sense of dread washed over me like a wave crashing against the shore. These figures were different. Something was horribly wrong. They moved with an eerie grace, their steps silent against the pavement. And then, as they reached the gates, I saw it. Their heads were missing. Panic clawed at my throat as I stared in disbelief at the headless figures advancing towards me. I wanted to call out, to demand answers, but fear rooted me to my spot. I could only watch helplessly as the headless fathers passed through the gates, disappearing into the darkness of the academy grounds. For a moment, I sat frozen in shock, my mind reeling with the impossibility of what I had just witnessed. But then, driven by a mixture of curiosity and dread, I knew I had to follow them. With trembling hands, I grabbed my flashlight and stepped through the gates, the cold night air wrapping around me like a vice. The grounds of St. Augustine's Academy were bathed in an eerie silence as I made my way through the deserted courtyard. The moon hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the ancient stone buildings. Every shadow seemed to dance with the whisper of unseen movement, and the sound of my own footsteps echoed off the walls like a haunting melody. I followed the path the headless fathers had taken, my heart pounding in my chest with each step. What had brought them here, and why were they headless? The questions swirled through my mind like a storm, but there were no answers to be found. As I reached the main building, a sense of foreboding settled over me like a heavy shroud. The doors loomed before me, their darkened windows staring back like empty eyes. With a deep breath, I pushed them open and stepped inside. The interior of the academy was cloaked in darkness, broken only by the feeble glow of my flashlight. The air was thick with the scent of dust and decay, and the silence was suffocating. I crept through the empty corridors, the sound of my footsteps echoing off the walls like a ghostly whisper. And then, just as suddenly as they had appeared, I saw them, the headless fathers, gathered in a circle in the center of the room. My breath caught in my throat as I watched them, their spectral forms shimmering in the dim light. They stood perfectly still, their robes flowing around them like ethereal tendrils. And then, to my horror, they began to chant, a low, guttural sound that sent shivers racing down my spine. It was a language I did not recognize, ancient and malevolent, filling the air with a palpable sense of dread. I knew I had to leave, to escape this nightmare before it consumed me whole. But as I turned to flee, a voice echoed through the darkness, a voice that chilled me to the bone. "Stay," it whispered, a haunting echo that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Join us." With a cry of terror, I bolted from the room, my heart pounding in my chest as I raced through the deserted corridors. I didn't stop until I reached the safety of the gates, the cool night air washing over me like a cleansing tide. As I stumbled into the darkness beyond, I knew I would never forget the horrors I had witnessed within the walls of St. Augustine's Academy. And though I escaped with my life, a part of me would forever remain trapped within that haunted place, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beneath the surface.